What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. Today is Wednesday, September 25th, and we are just a few days away from Atlantic City Regionals, Cologne Regionals, and the Sao Paulo special event that are all happening this weekend. I posted a SurveyMonkey poll in Hey Fonte on Facebook. I believe I might have shared it on Verbank, and I also tweeted it from my personal Twitter, asking everyone to vote for the 7 decks from the list that they thought were the strongest decks in the format. I pretty much included every deck I could think of. And these are the results. This is what the community selected as the top decks. And I'll also explain what the percentage means. So, I have the polling results from 100 random respondents who chose to respond to my poll from, like I said, the Facebook groups on Twitter. And the percentage next to the archetype is the percentage of people out of the 100 that voted for the corresponding deck within their 7 top decks. So 95 out of 100 of the people that voted for their top 7 decks included Ability Zard in their top 7. 93% included Mewtwo, 87% included Pikarom, 80% included Blacephalon the Ganondel, 79% included Malamar, 67% included Guardian, and 57% included Green Zard. So the voting was in no order, it was just your 7. So, and here's a chart that depicts that pretty nicely for you. Just to get a gist of what the community thinks is the strongest decks, and I tend to agree with this list. I think these would have been my 7 without the influence of the community's voting. I don't have in an exact order. I would put Pikarom much lower probably, and I would probably put Green Zard where Pikarom is, and then Malamar where Blacephalon is. Just switch those, but Malamar and Blacephalon were 1%, so that's not even a significant difference. Quickly, I'm just going to run through a few lists for each of these decks for you guys. So, for Ability Zard, let's go and look at my current list. I don't think it's changed too much since my Flipside article a few days ago. I've added 1 Stealthy Hood, which I think a lot of people are doing now. It allows you to attack through Wobbuffet, and it can stop in the mirror match from them using 9 Temptations on something that you don't want them to gust up. I really like Alex Shemansky's list from his recent article. So if you're looking for other lists, you can refer to that as well. It's not too far off of this. Everybody's abilities are decks that include Zard are like really similar to each other. I think a lot of people are just using 16 energy instead of the 17, but since I'm playing the double Baby Blounds, I wrote about this in my article, I just really like the Baby Blounds in the deck, so I keep the 17 energy for Fire Crystal. And I'm not sure if I have other Ability Zard lists built on here, but we can go refer to Limitless real quick and see what Robin Schultz played to Sheffield top 8. So he was playing 13 Fire Energy for Fire Crystal, which I don't really like too much. I like to have more raw energy, but I do like the 4 Fire Crystal, so I kept that in my build of the deck. Next would be Mewtwo. I think my Mewtwo list is pretty straightforward. Let's take a look here. I've added the Muck Muck that I've adapted, and a lot of people have adapted from Rahul. I think he was kind of the inventor of the Muck Muck. I've always liked Turtonator ever since I saw Robin Schultz play it at Worlds, so I have that in now. And Tina seems pretty basic in these decks. Nothing else really to note here. I see some people keeping the Reshizard. I think you always play Charizard and then Reshizard can be in there. But I think with the Tina and the Turt, you're fine. You don't need the GX attack that can go through things. Flare Blitz for 300 is just pretty insane. Next would be Pikarom, and I'm not a fan of Pikarom, but I think Logan Madden's list was very close to correct. He played double Labs and a Hoopa, which helps versus Malamar, and I expect to see a lot of Malamar this weekend. I would replace the Judge for Cynthia, and then find a cut for a second reset stamp. Also, Will Jenkins just shared his new article on TeamRocketHideout.com on PikaRom, and I believe it's only 99 cents to read that article, so I would definitely suggest checking that out. Blacephalon. The Blacephalon lists have been pretty similar to Shintaro Ito's for the most part. Most people have adapted the Heatran, the 2 Naganadel GX. This is very similar to my list. I do play a Labs. The Labs comes in handy versus Malamar and Guardian. Other than that, let's see. Just cut the 3rd Ultra Space for a Labs, and then that's exactly the list I played last weekend in Elite Cup. Spell Tag, Malamar. Again, the Mally lists have been pretty similar. I think we're so far into this meta right now because we started it in Worlds that all the lists are starting to look alike. I like the Jinx because you can be aggressive versus a Vulpix if you go first, and if they fill up their bench. But other than that, nothing too special about this. Some people are taking out the Power Plant because they don't think it helps too much against Mewtwo. In my testing, it has actually swung games versus Mewtwo, so I like the Power Plant, but I can definitely see taking it out. I don't think it's a necessity to the deck. And then Guardian. The Guardian lists have been kind of everywhere. I think the Xerneas GX and the heavy switches can do just fine versus Malamar, so you can go much lower on healing. And the Wait and See Hammer, the Xerneas GX, and the Stealthy Hood are all relatively there for Ability Zard. And as well as the Wondrous Labyrinth. Some lists were cutting Wondrous Labyrinth, but that's also very good against Ability Zard, especially if you go like Wait and See Hammer, then Wondrous Labyrinth. I think Guardian's pretty strong if you play perfectly, but like one misplay, one like unfortunate bad luck in a match, the deck kind of crumbles. Like, it's very fragile. And last but not least is Green Zard. And let's look at a Green Zard list from Jack Culkin, top 8 at Sheffield Regionals. They played the Lugia GX, which I would cut immediately. I don't like that at all. That's just my opinion. And probably like add a second switch maybe, or a second stamp for the Lugia, because this is just another Pokemon that's not Volk. I just want to start Volk as much as possible. And yeah, those are the top 7 decks in Standard right now. This is much more brief and less professional, I guess, than my usual top decks and Standards installments. But I've been doing a lot of testing myself, and I'm also busy with school and some non-Pokemon things. So I definitely wanted to get this information out there, and thank you for everyone that was involved in the survey. I just didn't have time to put it into a neat slideshow like I usually do for you guys, but I hope this information still helps. And I'm pretty sure you'll be able to stop the screen at any of the lists that I shared and be able to see the whole list at one point or another. And also, of course, shout out to LimitlessTCG.com. That's where these lists are from, and Limitless is an amazing resource. Also, be sure to check out PTCGstats.com or PokeStats on Twitter. They should be tweeting out League Cup results for the week. There's definitely League Cup results from last week on there as well. And I have a bunch of other videos regarding AC and the meta on this channel, so check those out if you haven't already. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.